If you're listening to this podcast, you are probably an aspiring actor or actress. Yes, we do say actress here. Maybe you're thinking about pursuing a career in this business. Perhaps you're a seasoned actor with maybe 20, 30, 40 years of work behind you. And now you want to reinvigorate your career. Find out why it has stalled. Or as many actors would say, where did I go wrong? I said that at one time. In fact, if I had to do it all over again, I think I would have been a very good talent manager because I can think outside the box. I can look at, I'm very good. I'm very good at looking at somebody and saying, I know what we can fix. Let's fix this. Now, the problem is that most actors don't listen. They're stubborn. They're egotistical. In fact, one of my directing teachers said that you need to treat actors as the children that they are. And I took that advice, and when I directed a play or when I directed plays, that's exactly what I did. And when I was acting in plays, I expected the director to teach me as the child that I was. Because actors behave like children most of the time. Not all of them, of course. It's just that they have to be handled. What we're trying to teach you here, as we journey into the new industry, is you need to start handling yourself. As we have talked about on the last few episodes, is that most actors are subservient, meaning that they sit around for the phone to ring, or I guess it would be to get a text on your smartphone. I heard a famous actor being interviewed yesterday. He's not a household name, but many people would know it. I'm not going to say his name. He's had a career for 50 years. Started out as a child actor, and he's still working today. He took some time off in the 70s, not because he wasn't getting work, but because he was getting work, but he needed more work that was more steady because he got married and started having a whole bunch of children. So he needed steady work. And so he got out of the business for a little while. Sometime later, he found some good work, good steady work in the industry, and actually found himself a soap opera to be on, which is good, steady income if you're looking for a good, steady acting job. Soap operas are good. So that's what he found that. Lucky him. But most actors aren't very good at being proactive. Yeah, they'll go to the auditions. You know enough to do that. They can even do a good audition. They know the techniques of an audition. What we're talking about here in the new industry, getting away from Hollywood, getting away, or not really getting away from it. Having one foot in, kind of, sort of. People that look at the bottom line only as will this make money or won't it? People that their idea of creativity is to reboot something from 40 years ago. They weren't even alive when it was originally on. So they have no concept of it. Is that what you want to do? Really? The word ART is no longer in the film business. It's been gone for decades. This is why I pretty much stopped watching movies. I don't know what's on TV today. I don't know what's being played in the movie. I don't care. So then you ask me, Al, how can you be an acting teacher? Why are we listening to this podcast? Because I'm looking at it from a different point of view. Don't you dare turn this off. Because you need to be able to be proactive in the new industry. I'm not looking at this as re-establishing a city. This is the new Hollywood or the new Broadway. No, it can be done anywhere. I thought of an analogy yesterday. but it's probably only going to speak to 10% of you. If Microsoft is Hollywood and Apple is Broadway, then Linux is the new industry I'm thinking of. There is no cohesive company to Linux, a Linux operating system. What is it? It's a piece of software that's, I'm going to try to say it in very simple layman terms, a piece of software that was released, and then people built on it and built on it and built on it, all open source, not a company behind it, but individual people as members of a community who get together and add their ideas and their own signature to it and build upon it. And it's done anywhere and everywhere to where it is today. Is it ever going to overtake Apple or Microsoft? No, because there's no company behind it. Does it work? Sure it does. I've been using Linux for years. At my day job, I have to use Windows 10 sometimes. I do use my computer when I can. But sometimes I have to use Windows 10, and I can't stand it. And I don't like what Apple's become. Same thing with Hollywood and Broadway. As I said a couple episodes ago, I looked at what was playing on Broadway. I wouldn't give you 2 cents to see any of those shows. And they want how much to see them? CGI doesn't interest me in a movie. Storytelling, good writing, good acting, good scenery if it's a movie, good cinematography, good scenery if it's a play. These can be done anywhere. And then you're saying, yeah, all you need is money. The money's in Hollywood. Is it? Is it really? That's the only place? No, I don't think so. I think there's money all over. Lots of people have money. Lots of people made movies for no money that have grossed, that are classics today. Hell, these days you can shoot a damn movie on your phone. People do, you know. You need to retrain your thinking. I was going to talk about acting techniques today. That's what I really wanted to talk about. But then I figured out, as I was, refreshing my mind about Stanislavski and Michael Chekhov and Uta Hagen and Sanford Meisner and all the great acting teachers, which you should know about. And then I was going to answer, which is the best technique? And really, who cares? I'm not saying ignore any of them. No, I think you should embrace all of them. And then see what works for you. And if a good director, such as myself, get a hold of a good director like me, for example, and yes, I am a good one, I'm not saying that to be braggadocious. I'm just telling you I'm a good director. I have this knack of finding the right people for the right part. I don't know how it's done, except supernaturally. And it takes a life of its own. I as an actor, I've never been in a show like that. And when I direct, it just does. It directs itself. I don't have to do much of anything. Except make sure they don't run into the furniture. With all the creativity that actors have, they're not very good at thinking outside the box. Oh, I got to go to Broadway. I got to go to Hollywood. I got to do this. I got to do that. No, you don't. You have to be as strong as an ox to survive what I have in mind. This is not for the faint-hearted. And I actually, to be quite honest with you, I don't know what I have in mind. I just know that it has to be done. It has to be different. It has to be unique. It has to be. We have to bring back the word ART back into films. And I wish the young people would study older films. It does my heart good that when I watch an old TV show or an old movie on YouTube and I see the comments and somebody says, I'm 13 years old, I love Steve McQueen. Or I love old westerns. I'm 18 years old and I watch Burns and Allen all the time. I'm obsessed with them. That does my heart great. And they're out there. And I really admire the young people who will sit and watch the Dean Martin show. Now, I grew up with those generations, Sinatra, Martin, and all those people. So a lot of the comedy that comes from that is from the characters that they portrayed. You know, Jack Benny was the cheapskape. Dean Martin was the lovable drunk. So all the jokes come from that. And if you're somebody young and you're just come into that, it's not going to make any sense. So those who say, oh, this is hysterical, and they're 25 years old, they must have had some kind of background information to get that. See, when I was growing up, there was no YouTube. There was no place to go to watch some of these old shows. Yes, we had afternoons filled with I Dream of Jeannie and Gilligan, and even some Burns and Allen, but not the really early episodes of Burns and Allen, or Jack Benny. And I mentioned these because these people, if you're an actor, these are the people that you need to study. These people knew about branding themselves and casting a characterization upon themselves, which they played for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and it was just as funny when they started as when they died. And years, decades after their death, we're still laughing. We're still seeing superstars at work. No one of the current crop of so-called stars and actors, nobody's going to be watching them in 50 years. No one. I guarantee you, no one. As far as the superstars of yesteryear, why are these people successful? Why are people still watching them 50, 60, 70 years later? Because they have a unique brand. Oh, I'm just a character actor. No, even character actors have a unique brand. A type. That doesn't mean you don't play other types of characters. Dean Martin did a handful of westerns. That to me is really weird, but he was very successful in them. With and without Jerry Lewis, that I'm thinking about it. If you really want to find the art in cinema, watch silent movies. Pure art, right there. Pure technique. Yes, you might say that there's some overacting there, an exaggeration. Well, there has to be because there's no sound. No, but I'm talking about in the waning years of silent movies. The waning years of silent movies. 1926, 1927, 1928, and even into 29. Now remember, the jazz singer was 1927, which was, 85% silent with 15% song and dance by Al Jolson, mostly. But there were some beautiful films. And I'm not going to give you too many names here, because I want you to go out and find them on your own. I will give you one, Pandora's Box. Yes, The Docks of New York. Beautiful movie. Wonderful movie. One of my favorites, The Volga Boatman, starring William Boyd, who became typecast, talk about typecast, as Hopalong Cassidy. It's a Cecil B. DeMille film. It's just an amazing piece of work. So many. My point is this. When silent movies were at its height creatively, the technical aspects of film were unsurpassed. And then 1928-29, when they switched to sound, it set movie making back 15 years. Because in those first early sound movies, they were hiding microphones in the pot plant and they had to stand around. It became very static. But I think, in my opinion, 1929 was one of the best years in movie making history. Some of those early sound films, like Applause with Helen Morgan. Although you might feel like you need to take a shower after it because it's very gritty. Let's just say, not a nice movie. It'll still shake you up today. Go back and look. If you are a young actor or even an older actor, go back and look at some of these films from 90 years ago, silent and early sound. See if there's something you can use from there. And I think you can. I think it'll give you a boost in your own creativity. You will see possibilities that you never realized before. I think it'll be an inspiration to some of you. That's mainly for those who are aspiring actors. Now let's talk about you who have been in the industry for 20, 30, 40 years. Maybe you've had some success. Maybe you had a TV series. You were in a TV series and you got typecast, or your manager doesn't know what to do with you. Casting directors say, oh, you're whoever that part is. We can't cast you. And you're too old anyway. That was 30 years ago. Or they look at you and say, who? What are we going to do with you? I think it's easy. Here's where you need to be proactive. Here's where you need to save your money and not go around spending it on boats and houses and mansions and cars. 2 cars, not 5. 2 homes, not 12. Because you're going to have to put some money into a production. I say, do something so different, so radical, in some place that's unexpected, that it can't help but attract your fan base. Remember, you have a fan base who is going to follow you, who love you because of a part you played for X amount of years in a TV series, because you were so effective in such a film, or you did this role for so many years on Broadway in London and toured with it. Now nothing else. Because I often wondered why somebody like Larry Kurt, who originated the role of Tony in West Side Story, what happened? Yeah, he worked, he did concert work, but why didn't he get other Broadway work after that? Not much. He did some, but not like he should have. Not like Carol Lawrence, his co-star. Yeah, it really wasn't until he replaced Dean Jones in Company. That was 13 years later, something like that. Weird. Just really weird. Well, you got to go where the work is. No, you create your own work. This is what I'm talking about. This is the Linux operating system. You create your own operating system. Yeah, if you go on distrowatch.com, if you know nothing about Linux, your mind is going to be boggled because there are hundreds of Linux distributions. Which one do I choose to use? Same thing here. You start with one operating system. Oh, this is good. I like it, but I wish it did this. So I'm going to take that and make it a little bit better, or a little bit more unique, or different colors, or it does this better. And maybe other people will like to use that one too. That's what you guys have got to do. Those of you who are seasoned actors, who are having a hard time getting work. I was watching an interview with John Saxon ever since I was a teenager 40 years ago. I was saying, why isn't he a bigger star? How did he get into the horror movie genre when he should be doing Shakespeare, when he should be doing major motion pictures, in my opinion? What happened? To me, that's a waste of a hunk of talent right there. Because I've seen some of his early performances on TV guest shots and some movies like The Cardinal. He's terrific. The Appaloosa. Why wasn't he in a series? During the era in the 70s when there were so many detective shows. He would have been perfect in one of those. To my knowledge, I can't even find a record that he did a pilot for one of those shows. Or Doctor, one of the Doctor shows. I could think of plenty of films and TV shows that should have considered John Saxon. How about a sitcom? I think it would have been interesting to see him play comedy. If I was his manager, that's what I would have directed him towards that. A play, Broadway though, or not even Broadway, some kind of play that's different, that's going to attract your fan base, because you have a fan base. I'm talking to you who have been in the industry for a while, and you have some name recognition either through a TV show or a movie or a series of movies. We can find out something that you can do that will please your fan base and then build your fan base and get you back on track. And again, this is not about not working what I'm going to call mainstream in Hollywood or on Broadway or in television, but in addition to. But picking what you want to do and when you want to do it and why you want to do it. I don't want to hear actors say, oh, I better take this crappy role because I need the money. I got alimony payments to make. Or too many mortgages. My kids have to eat. You need to think about how you can create these things for yourself without the help of those who are in California and New York, and who you are going to enroll to help you build this new industry. And then you can take it to the next level and get your life and your career back on track.